Outdoor timing control devices have been around for years. We use them to control fountains, sprinkler systems, seasonal decorations, and swimming pool pumps. Really, the applications are endless. You just set the schedule and let the magic begin. But hey, what if you're away for a prolonged period of time and you need to make an adjustment? Well, I've got just the answer. So how do you solve the issue of changing the timing schedule if you're not always around to do so? Well, here's the answer. This is the Dewenwils Outdoor Wi-Fi Smart Box. This device features an outdoor rated enclosure, multi-voltage capability, the ability to set multiple schedules and times, status feedback, and it's compatible with Alexa and Google Assistants. It features normally open and normally closed 40 amp resistive rated contacts. It can run a 1 horse 16 amp motor on 120 volt and a 2 horsepower motor on 240 volt. It can run 30 amps of ballasted lighting, 15 amps of tungsten at 120 volt, and a 30 amp resistive load on 24 volts DC. So you see, this has many diverse and useful applications, but in this video, I'm going to use it to solve an issue for me for my pool pump control here in Costa Rica. We're usually only here about half of the year, so being able to control the pump, check the status, and change the schedule as needed is going to be incredibly useful. So next off, let's go down to my mechanical room and let's start the planning process. So here we are in the pool pump room. Now there's my panel back there. And as you can see, we have a junction box coming out of the panel. Then we have my GFCI that provides GFI protection for the pool pump. It's only a small single horse motor and a 120 volt one, half horse, so lots of capacity with this timer to run that pool pump. So conduit goes around the wall here, and then it goes down to what I have now is just a mechanical single pole timing device that runs that pump, horsepower rated of course. And then looking down, we have the pump itself, the flex going back up to that timer. So where to install this box? Okay, the final answer. The plan is in place. I'm going to mount this box right here, coming out of the device box below on the top right, coming into the bottom left of the new Wi-Fi control box. And it'll be a simple process of just a short chunk of EMT conduit. The reason I'm using EMT and the rest is PVC here is because that's what I have on hand. So a couple connectors, cut a short chunk of EMT. Once I have that in place, then I'll know exactly where to mount my one concrete anchor that's going to go on that keyhole slot inside the box. So it'll be mounted up there, hanging on that screw, and it'll be also fastened by use of the conduit going from device box over to this junction box. Now just going to zoom in here on the existing timer device. As you can see, I've got a ground in place, and then I've got a neutral coming in, and then I've got a neutral going out to the pump, and I've got a neutral pigtailed over to the timing device, which it needs for its electronics. And then you see there the power in and out on the line and load terminals of this timing switch. So I got to disconnect those. I'll be putting in a disconnect switch there in place of that. And then we got to run a neutral, a ground, a line, and a load over to the Wi-Fi control box. So let's get that in place. All right, so now it's time to mount the box. We put it on the conduit, level it, mark the hole so I can drill with my concrete bit and hammer drill. Drill the proper sized hole for the concrete screw. Put the box back on. Attach it to the wall. Check to make sure it's good and tight. And now I see my connectors, set screw connectors. I've got to turn them down to about a 45-degree angle down so they're not in the way of the covers. And tighten the set screws, check for level, all good. Now it's time to wire. So I need a neutral, a white neutral, a black hot, a red switched conductor, and a bare ground. So I've got the 4 wires on either side here. Time to tie the new wires into my existing box where the old timer switch was. So first off, connect my ground wires. And I need a pigtail here because the switch, disconnect switch I'm going to have in place here does have a ground provision. So we need that pigtail. And then put on my moret, tuck that out of the way. Time to tie in my neutral. So the neutral does not need a pigtail here, so we're just tying into the incoming white neutral and the outgoing white neutral to the pump, and then a neutral over for my timer box for the control. And then next we tie in the hot wire. I'll use the black wire to go over, that's the incoming black wire from the GFCI. Tying that onto the black wire, going over to the timer box to provide control power, and the common terminal for the switch to the pump to control the pump on and off. So splice that, use a moret, give it a few twists with the pliers to make sure it's good and tight, tug test, check it, all good. Now we tie in the red wire coming back from the timer box off of the normally open contact and going to the outgoing wire now to the pump motor. And then we're going to interrupt that with the switch. So now we tie on the ground wire to the switch, put the red wire. We're using the back wire terminals here, so you only need to strip about 5/8 of an inch or so. Put it underneath that brass plate and tighten the screw. So there's your red wire coming from the timer box into the switch, out of the switch, down to the pump motor. Now this will be serving as our disconnect so that we don't have to use the timer to do our shutting off of the pump for maintenance, for filter backflush, etc. Over here at the timer box, now we've got to tie on our bare ground to the provided ground terminal. 180-degree loop around that screw underneath the washer, and on top of that back plate, tighten that down firmly. Now next we'll deal with our neutral white wire. See, they sent 2 jumpers with it. We're going to be using the jumper wire for the black to jump from the control power over to the common terminal of the switched contact. So here we go with the neutral. Tie that on. Now the black, we need to tie that onto the control power as well as the jumper wire that's going to go over to the common terminal. So both of those under one termination screw here. Make sure it's good and tight. And then over to the common. Now you can pick either set here, either the left set or the right set. There's 2 sets of terminals. Common, normally open, normally closed. That's for if you had a 240 volt motor here, you would interrupt both hot wires. But being we have a neutral and a hot, we only need to switch the hot wires. So common for the jumper wire, and then the red wire is going to go to the normally open contacts, heading over to the switch as I showed you.
Okay, let's go over what I did there. So we had the power coming in on black and white, coming down this conduit, and a ground. We have black, white, and a ground going down to the motor. So what we had to do is run 4 wires over to this box, as you saw in the little demonstration there. 4 wires. I used a red, a black, a white, and a ground, a bare ground. So we took our grounds, we spliced them all together, coming in, going out, going over to here, and a pigtail for the switch. Then we took our neutrals and dealt with them. All we have now is a neutral coming in. It was pigtailed to the other timing device. That's not needed anymore. We needed a longer white going over to the new Wi-Fi smart box. So we pigtailed the 2 wires neutral in, neutral out, and neutral over to our new box. Then we dealt with the hot wires. So we have a hot wire coming in, the GFI protected wire to feed the motor. We spliced it to the black wire that heads over to this new Wi-Fi smart box and connected it to the line of the control power and a neutral to the load side. We'll go over that in a minute. So then back out of the smart Wi-Fi box, the switched wire we used as the red. So it comes back over here to the switch, out of the switch to the motor. So this is just going to function as a disconnect, like I said, so we can shut that pump off without going into here and using this button. So we have to put all this back together, and then we're going to set up the smart box once the power's all on. So got to put this switch back in, put a cover on it, make sure these covers are all closed. Okay, so let's have a close look at the smart Wi-Fi box and the connections in here. Starting on the left, we have line power. That's the control voltage power. So we brought our black wire to it and that little jumper to go over to the common. So black wire for power for the control for this thing. Neutral, white wire onto the neutral terminals. This can be anywhere from 120 to 277 volt control voltage. So all the smarts is handled inside here to condition that input voltage to whatever voltage it can use to make everything work. So here now we jumped from the hot, the line, over to COM number 2, common. That's like a relay. So you got a common terminal, a normally open, normally closed. So in the normal state, powered down, this is going to be open between common and normally open, and closed between common and normally closed. Another full set of contacts here. They're called COM1, normally open and normally closed number 1. That set of contacts, you'd use that if you were using 240 volt for a 240 volt motor. So there you go. I just picked COM number 2, the set number 2 of the relay terminals, because they were closest. And then of course, grounded at the back here. My box is mounted, secured to the wall. All that's left is to close things up, and we're going to test it out by powering the unit up and getting it connected to the app and see what we can do. We have it all connected, set up with the app, connected to Wi-Fi, and we're ready to set some schedules. So the app is called the Eco app. See it right there. They provide a QR code. And I'll just show you on my phone. It's a little easier than uploading a screen capture recording. So here it is. There's the app, the Eco app, and as you can see right there, we call that my PDV1 pool pump. So I can push that button, and as you see in the background, the power light is now on. So I can turn on that pump if the manual disconnect switch was on. As you can hear, my pool pump started up. So just shut that off. As you can see, if it's running, I can manually shut it off, or I can do it via the app. And of course, then I can set some schedules in the app and control that from wherever I may be in this great, beautiful world of ours. Let's get started with setting up a schedule. So I'm going to do it this way because the screen capture sometimes is a little bit awkward. So let's just zoom out here a little bit and just go right from my smartphone. Wake it up. As you can see in the background, I'm going to shut off the pump. Red light is off. App is connecting. Timer. So a timer schedule here, we would just hit the plus button. We would want a programmable timer. And there you can see you can choose your days of the week, you can choose your on time, your off time, and you can set multiple schedules. So that's just a matter of exploring the app and finding out all what it can do for you. But this solved a great problem for me when I'm not here. Got to have either somebody come in and manually reset the timer. And the old one I had was a fairly simple little device. However, the programming was not all that simple. So you had to have the instructions kind of kept handy. This way I can just have my gardener and my maintenance guy come and do his maintenance by manually shutting off the disconnect, and I can control the schedules, and I can just have him check once in a while to make sure that the pump is actually running when it says it's running. All right, one final step before we close the door on this project. We will put on the little guard that covers all the electrical terminations so that the box is safe to open that door, to turn it on or off or reset or whatever you need to do without coming into contact with any live electrical parts. 2 screws that secure that door in place. Close the lid, and we're done. Okay, so I've been running my Dewenwils Smart Box Wi-Fi timer device here on my pool for a couple weeks now. One small thing I did notice is that we do get a lot of power interruptions here, especially during the rainy season, and now it's kind of near the end, we get a lot of lightning storms. So we'll lose power momentarily or maybe for an hour or two, but the timer does not default back to the mode that it was in when the power went out. So if it went out in the middle of our cycle, which I have set from 10 o'clock a.m. till 4 p.m., it wouldn't start again till the next morning at 10 a.m. So to solve that problem, all you need to do is add some schedules to the system. So then you would just, if you wanted it to make sure that you started it every hour in case it went out anytime during the cycle, then you could put in another program of say 11 till 4 or 12 till 4 or 1 to 4, however you wanted to set that up, so that if it did go out at the next hour, it would start again and again shut off at 4 o'clock. So that's one solution to that little problem, but other than that, excellent. I'm loving it. We timer set, of course, 10 to 4 as I mentioned, but now if we want to go swimming off schedule, off of that time, and we want the pump running, whereas before we had to run down to the pump room and turn on the manual switch on the old clock timer I had, now all you have to do is grab your smartphone, start the pump, and away you go. All right, that's the end of another successful project video, the installation of the Wi-Fi smart box from Dewenwils. Maybe leave me a comment or two below telling me how you could use a product like this. I will leave a link in the description as to where you can purchase your very own. Now don't forget to give me the old thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, click on that notifications bell. Terry Peterman, the Internet Electrician, and we'll see you in the next one.